patients and staff is top priority. Please be aware of the following changes due to COVID-19. All patients should wear a mask to their appointment.
Good afternoon. Thank you for calling Texas Oncology. This is Kira.
Hi, Kira. My name is Jessica. I'm a community advocate in the Denton area. I received a photo this morning of a Denton County Sheriff's deputy sitting in the office of Texas Oncology this morning without a mask on. I noticed when I called just now, the recording advised that all patients need to wear a mask when they come into the clinic. Are you all not enforcing that rule, or?
Let me give you Judy.
Okay.
Hold on.
Sure.
Okay, Jessica, I can't find the practice administrator, so let me get your contact number.
It's
Okay, she'll give you a call back.
okay. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Hello.
Work for Texas Oncology in communications.
Okay.
And you called our clinic I believe in Denton today?
Right.
Okay, how can I help you?
Well, I was contacted by a concerned citizen, a patient there who was in the clinic this afternoon around 2 o'clock. They were concerned because, when they called to make their appointment, they were under the impression that everyone in the clinic would have to wear a mask.
Everybody in the clinic does have to wear a mask. That's accurate.
Well, there was a sheriff's deputy in the clinic who was not. And they took a picture of that sheriff's deputy in the clinic not wearing a mask. And we've had some issues with the sheriff's department.
Yeah, I'm aware of that, and so I'd like to address this photo. First of all, everybody in the clinic, including our staff and patients, are required to wear a mask. From time to time, a patient may have to remove a mask. For example, if they have to have contrast for their procedure, they have to drink it, and so that requires removing the mask. And then they put it back on. But if somebody took a picture of patients in our clinic, they are violating the privacy rights of those two patients unless they have written permission to take their picture. Because all of our patients have the right to privacy, as I'm sure you can understand and appreciate.
Sure, but I understand that, ma'am, but that's not the issue of my call. I mean, if you have a problem with people taking pictures in your clinic, that's something that your staff needs to address.
Right, and we just addressed that with our staff this afternoon.
Okay, but did you address the fact that the sheriff's deputy was allowed to not wear a mask?
He had his mask on. It was off for a very brief time.
That's not the report that we got.
Well, I just talked to the clinic administrator and the clinic staff there. It was off for a very brief time.
Okay, so you're claiming that the patient who reported this is lying?
I'm not saying the patient that reported this is lying. Not at all. What I can tell you is if she took a picture of one or two patients without their written permission, that's a violation of their privacy
I never
rights.
said she. You said one or two. Was there more than one person not wearing a mask?
There were people in the clinic that needed to adjust contrast, which does require having the mask off for a brief time, and then the mask goes back on.
Interesting, because the picture doesn't show them holding anything in their hands. They're not holding a drink. They're not wearing masks at all.
Can you appreciate that if you are a patient in a clinic and somebody takes a photograph of you without your permission, that's not appropriate.
Can you appreciate that in an oncology clinic where people receive treatment for cancer, there would be a concern that sheriff's deputies are allowed to not wear their mask?
I dispute that anybody is not wearing their mask. There may be brief times that somebody has their mask in the wrong place, or maybe they have the mask pulled down. We ask them to put it back on.
There's no mask on them at all.
I haven't seen this photo, but the very fact that it exists is a violation of their privacy.
I just find it interesting that you're more concerned about the photo evidence of the fact that this person's not wearing a mask than you are.
You know what I'm concerned about? I'm concerned about cancer patients in treatment who are sick. They're battling a disease,
and they're being exposed to, and people aren't wearing masks in your clinic office, protecting them. You're not concerned about that? You're not concerned about the fact that people aren't being made to wear masks in the clinic office to protect those immune sensitive people? You seem more concerned about the picture than the threat posed to those lives, ma'am.
I am concerned about the privacy
So,
of our patients
I was
as
calling
well
to
as
get
the
a
safety
statement
of
to
our
hear
patients.
about whether or not you were enforcing the ordinance.
We are.
And you're more concerned about defending the fact that you're not.
Okay. My request is this. Please do not use any photo that was obtained
I can't make that promise.
without the permission of the people in the photo.
I can't make that promise, ma'am. What you just did was release personal medical information about 2 of your patients to me, which is a HIPAA violation because you just informed me that they were both ingesting fluids necessary for a medical procedure.
Okay. What do you want to do with this photo? I know you have an issue with the sheriff.
The reason for my call was I wanted to know why nobody enforced it, why nobody had them put their mask on. My concern was that people in the clinic who work there felt intimidated by the fact that he was a deputy. I'm asking why they wouldn't require the deputy to wear a mask.
He was required to wear a mask.
But he wasn't. There's photos showing that he has no mask on. There's not one around his neck. There's not one on his face. There's not one in his hands. His hands are both empty. He's sitting there having a conversation without a mask on.
And so, what would you like for me to do?
All I wanted was to know whether or not staff felt like they couldn't enforce the order, or if they tried to enforce the order, or you're not willing to have that conversation, though.
No, these are human beings. Things happen. I don't know what happened in this instance. If he doesn't have his mask on.
You said you do know what happened. You said that you asked the clinic director.
Somebody took a picture. But I will also tell you that if we see somebody not following the rules, we ask them to please follow the rules. I mean, these.
So was the sheriff's deputy asked to follow the rules?
Everybody's asked to follow the rules.
Okay, but you're not. I'm asking specifically whether or not the sheriff's deputy was asked to follow the rules.
Yes.
And did he comply?
When somebody enters the clinic, there is signage. There is a screener at the door that explains the rules.
Right.
You can go to our website and you can see you will be required to
and
wear
this patient witnessed the deputy come in, be screened, then sit down without a mask on. So after he was sitting there without a mask on, I'm asking, was he asked to comply with the mask ordinance?
That would be our policy.
I understand it's your policy. I'm asking whether or not he was asked to comply with it.
Since I wasn't there, I can't confirm or deny that he wasn't. Ma'am.
I just wanted to know whether or not he was asked to comply after he didn't. You're not able to answer that question, fine. Is there anyone else with your company that would like to answer that question before I make the information public?
Why do you want to make this public? Because he's a sheriff's deputy,
allegedly? Yeah. Because it's a problem. Because as you said, this facility primarily treats people with cancer, people who are very susceptible and immune deficient. And there's a sheriff's office who has blatantly made it known that they will not enforce a mask mandate put in place to protect those most vulnerable. And here's a deputy abusing his power, sitting in an oncology office, refusing to wear a mask. And I say refusing because when I call the line to the office, it says clearly that they are not allowing visitors, that you must be a patient, and that in order to make an appointment, you have to know. And you yourself have told me there's a policy where they check in and are verbally told they have to wear a mask. There's signs everywhere. So he's obviously refusing to wear a mask, and it can't be enforced. And why? Because when you work at a medical clinic and you know that the sheriff has made it very clear that his deputies won't enforce the order, and it's a deputy who he himself is not following the order, what is your staff supposed to do? Who are they going to call?
Well, ma'am, I wasn't there.
Exactly.
I wasn't
Yet
there.
you're the one calling me back.
What our policy was.
I know what your policy is.
No matter who you are, if you come into the clinic and you take your mask off, we're going to tell you got to put your mask back on. If you're not wearing your mask
my
properly,
question, which
we're
is the
gonna tell
same.
you to Put your mask on
Ma'am,
properly.
I called the clinic earlier and asked them if he was required to wear the mask, if he was asked and required to. They told me they couldn't answer that they were going to have someone call me back who could. You're telling me that you also cannot answer that because you weren't there. So what I was trying to do was get an opportunity to your clinic to make a statement as to whether or not the deputy was asked to wear the mask.
Okay, how about this? How about I can circle back to you with a statement. I'll be happy to do that.
Great. Okay, well, here's what I would like to know for certain. At any time, was the deputy asked to put his mask on? And if he was, did he or did he not comply?
I will see if I can confirm that.
Great.
Okay, and so now what do you do?
This is what I do.
But I'm sorry, for who?
For Denton.
Okay,
I'll look forward to your call.
okay. I'll be calling you back.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi, do you want me to email a statement to you?
You're welcome to email it to me.
Okay.
You can give it to me over the phone. You can send it in writing.
Okay. All right. I am going to send you a statement, but I will tell you that if somebody is seen with their mask off or not adjusted properly, no matter who they are, they will be asked to put it back on or adjusted. Doesn't matter who they are.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. So, it's that's the rule.
I understand. I understand that. And I would imagine I don't have any problem believing that is a standard protocol in an oncology office.
Yeah.
I'm specifically concerned about this deputy, however, who it is obvious
I understand.
was not following the rule.
I understand it's a sensitive situation, but the bottom line is no matter who you are, you need to wear your mask. You need to wear it properly. If you have it off for even a moment, you will be requested to put it back on. Doesn't matter who you are.
So the statement that you're sending, is it in specific relation to the question that I asked about the deputy?
I am going to send you a statement about what our policy is, and this policy applies to everyone.
Texas Oncology is still not willing to confirm whether or not the deputy specifically was asked to put his mask on.
Everybody is expected to wear their mask. Everybody's expected
you've said
to wear their
that,
mask
but he wasn't.
properly.
He wasn't, and there's photo evidence that he wasn't.
Yeah.
So what my question was, you asked what I wanted. What my two questions were specifically were this. Was he asked to put his mask on? And if he was asked, did he comply? So you all are refusing to answer those questions.
You need to quit eyeballing me right there, dude. Yeah, you. You need to quit mugging me. Your job is to be an officer, not out here intimidating people. And when you look at me like that, and you look me down like that, that is intimidation. What's your name and badge number? I can't see it. That doesn't mean you don't have to tell me, sir. You don't get to say sorry, you don't see it, ma'am. Tell me your name and your badge number. Tell me your name. I can't come to you, sir. This says I'm not allowed to come to you. Are you telling me to break the law? Officer Patrick. 324. Thank you very much. I sure do appreciate you doing your minimum job. Quit intimidating peaceful protesters. I have a right to come out here and say whatever I want, however loud I want. You don't like it, get a different job.
This is for you, Chief Terrorist Kevin Phillips. We will continue to march in Gainesville. We will continue to bring people into your community to make sure that the people living in your community feel safe to protest and march, because you can't do your job. And just so you know, old boy, we'll march through the white neighborhoods too. We're going to make sure that the white people in Gainesville hear black and brown voices, and they will be surrounded by white allies, because this kind of normalized terrorization of people of color will not stand. Sunday, September 13th, 6 p.m., Cook County Courthouse lawn, 101 South Dixon Street. We nonviolently protest. This is a call to action to all allies in North Texas. Join us in Gainesville as we demand the removal of white supremacist Confederate monuments.
Kevin Phillips, why did you send officers to stalk pro-Gainesville organizers outside their homes? Why are you sending police cars to stalk and terrorize pro-Gainesville organizers? Harassment. Why don't you just come out here with your cloak and hood on? Guess what? This is what your Sunday looks like from here on out. So rest up. Buy some more face masks. Oh, I know you're mad. Go ahead. You mad? You mad, sir? Y'all got a problem separating your emotions from your job. You got a problem with it? You better rest up and get used to it, because this is what your Sunday looks like from here on out. I see Officer Cagle over here has her name visible. You're welcome. I taught her that. I took care of that for you, Chief. You're welcome, Chief. Good night, Chief.